Going into the 2025 NFL trade deadline, it was no secret that the Chicago Bears really needed to address the edge rusher position if they wanted to make any sort of push late in the season. Because you look at the room and what guys like Dio Dengbo and Montez Sweat and Dominique Robinson and Daniel Hardy were doing, you're going to walk away disappointed. The Bears have invested a lot of money, not just there, but across the entire defensive line, and unfortunately this season not a lot has come of it. So needless to say, when all they did was send a 6th round pick to Cleveland to get back Joe Tryon-Shoyinka in a 7th, a lot of Bears fans were really disappointed. They thought that there would be a bigger move made. And when you see a name like Jalen Phillips get moved for a 3rd round pick to Philly, all of a sudden people are up in arms. However, what a lot of fans didn't consider was another roster move that the Bears could potentially make in that span, and that was activating Austin Booker off of injured reserve, which is exactly what they did. And honestly, in my opinion, getting back Austin Booker is way better than any trade they could have made because it didn't take any assets, and Austin Booker, in my opinion, has the potential to be the guy opposite Montez Sweat, to be the answer to the Bears' pass rushing woes. This is a guy that has infinite traits and is really starting to put it together when he's been on the field. He's been a demon in the preseason, which I know, take that with a grain of salt, but when you watched him against Miami earlier this year in that preseason game, you saw an NFL pass rusher. So now that he's back in the Bears rotation and has gotten 2 full games, I wanted to take a look at 8 reps that really stood out to me and show the tools, the traits, the abilities that really make me feel that Austin Booker can make a difference for this Bears team. Played great against the Bengals. He had a forced fumble and a sack. He played great against the Giants, led the team in pressures with 5. I really like what I've seen out of him over the past 2 weeks. I'm very excited to jump into this. So without further ado, let's go ahead, dive into the tape, and talk about Austin Booker and why I think he can really make a difference for this Bears team long-term as the starting pass rusher opposite Montez Sweat. First play we're going to take a look at here, I want to set the scene for. We've got Austin Booker on the right side of your screen. First game back off of IR. First game of his sophomore season. He's not starting full-time at this point. He's rotating in and out with Dio Dengbo. This is the start of the 4th quarter, literally the first play of the 4th quarter. 15 minutes on the clock. Bears need some sort of big play, and Austin Booker is going to come through. He's going to do a great job here. He sticks out that long arm against Orlando Brown Jr. here. And Austin Booker will tell you, this is the basis of his entire pass rushing repertoire. This is his go-to move, this long arm. And there's so much you can do with it, and we'll see him do things with it throughout this video. He has a really nice rep in the Giants game where he hits a long arm and then swipes the arms, and we'll get to that when we get to it. But this play right here, he doesn't do anything fancy. He engages with that arm, and then he just keeps going. This is a great bull rush. The strength here to be able to bury the tackle with one arm. This is like reminiscent of Khalil Mack in his prime in Chicago. I know that's a big thing to say. I don't think Austin Booker will ever be Khalil Mack. I'd love to be wrong, but that's just what came to mind when I watched this for the first time. Because he absolutely runs through the tackle, gets the sack, obviously, 10-yard loss, but the ball pops out. He forces the fumble. Gervon Dexter lands on it. That's a huge play for 94. Just everything about this rep is perfect. Easily the best play of his young career thus far. Beautiful rep. Beautiful job, and he gets to Aura Farm at the end. Everything's going on over here. There's a mess. They're trying to figure out who has the ball. He's staring down the sideline. Let's redo that circle. He's staring down the sideline. Honestly, talk your shit, man. I love it. I love it. I love the confidence from the young guy. Just an absolute awesome play here. I mean, I could genuinely watch this on repeat all day, but we do have 8 other plays to talk about, so we'll go ahead and move on to those. Next play we're going to take a look at isn't as flashy. We're not getting a sack here. I don't think Booker would even be credited for a pressure. This is just a nice pass rush rep. He ends up winning the rep. You know, anytime you get to the quarterback within 2.5 seconds of the ball getting snapped, that's considered a win. And Booker absolutely clears that threshold. So we'll go ahead and snap this ball here. And what he's going to do is he's going to lead with that long arm, his go-to move. That is what he builds everything else off of. He leads with the long arm, and this time, instead of just bull rushing the tackle, you see he's going to take the outside hand, swipe the tackle's hands away, show you that a little bit quicker, and then turn it into a rip move with that initial left arm, and that is going to enable him to get out around the tackle. Now again, doesn't get a pressure because Flacco throws this ball right as Austin Booker gets there, but still a very nice rep nonetheless, and you can imagine if you're going up against a quarterback who doesn't have a receiver breaking right across his line of sight up against a nickel corner who, God love CJ Gardner-Johnson, he's not the strongest coverage player. If he doesn't have that breaking right across his face, he's probably holding onto that ball for a little bit longer, or at least he's going to get a little more antsy, and it probably ends up being a bigger win there. But still a good rep, still a good move. Again, I love how he's building off of that long arm move. That is something that I've kind of been thinking about with Booker over the last couple years, watching him from college into the preseason into his rookie year, is if he can diversify his bag, he is going to be a threat. And that long arm move, as long as you have a go-to that you can build off of, you're in really good shape, and Austin Booker absolutely has one, and this is a good example of that. Next play we're going to take a look at here is kind of a better version of what we just saw, because Booker is going to get real pressure on the quarterback this time. He's going to directly impact the throw. So we're going to go ahead. We've got Booker on the right side here as per usual, and he is going to lead with that long arm once again. And this time when he goes for the rip around the edge, instead of swatting away the hands with his outside hand, he just drops the hand so the tackle kind of loses his balance and leans into Booker a little bit more, and then he goes into the rip. Flacco's throwing the ball as Booker gets there. Booker does a nice job of not, doing anything crazy for a roughing the passer, because we know the refs want to call those every chance they get. And we can see as Flacco rips this ball, it ends up going to a very tightly covered T. Higgins, and Nashawn Wright, credit to him, does a good job swatting the ball away. That falls incomplete. Just a really nice rep here. I love the speed from Booker off the edge. This is a really good one here. Like I said, pretty much a better version of the play we broke down previously. And the final play we're going to take a look at from the Bengals game before we hop over to last week's game against the Giants is going to be an absurd rep from Austin Booker on what should have been the end of this game, right? The play that should have put the Bengals away, the big Tremaine Edmunds interception in the red zone. Not saying that Edmunds wasn't down, because he definitely was. I'm not saying he should have gotten the pick six. I'm just saying it's a little ridiculous that the Bears defense collapsed the way it did. That's more the point I'm making here. But regardless, this rep from Booker is insane. We've got him lined up on the right side of your screen, and it's really important that Ja'Marr Chase is seen, right? Because he's going to kind of disappear off to the right, but you'll be able to see once this ball is snapped, Austin Booker jams Ja'Marr Chase at the line and then immediately closes on the tackle, swipes the arm away, and rips underneath of him. That's a crazy rep. Like, I know he doesn't get pressure here. He wouldn't even be charted with a win because this takes longer than 2.5 seconds because he has to jam Ja'Marr Chase at the line. But this is still a crazy rep. Just the quickness with how he's able to close, the one hand and dip, or the one hand and dip and rip, however you want to put it. Just a beautiful rep here. I mean, this is awesome. This is something I would honestly like to see more now, is Austin Booker lined up a little bit wider. I'm not saying he needs to chip receivers every play or jam receivers at the line, but I would like to see him lined up as a little bit more of a wide nine so he can build up this speed, attack with his quickness, and get into the backfield. This would be big for the Bears defense. I understand Dennis Allen wants to play with his guys hand in the dirt right up on the line, but letting Austin Booker play out wide would be very beneficial, because doing stuff like this is awesome. It's special. It's a good way to get pressure. He probably gets to Joe Flacco and gets a sack if it's not for the fact that he has to jam Ja'Marr Chase at the line. I know I keep bringing that up, but I think that's really funny. I'm not saying it's like a bad decision. I understand the thought process behind it. It's just the absurdity of jamming the receiver and also embarrassing the guy that you're supposed to be beating around the edge. And then Booker's up, and let's watch how he does on the return. It's not going to show me the return. That's so stupid. That's really dumb that I don't get to see Booker on the return because it gets overturned. I wanted to see if he threw a key block or anything like that, but we'll just watch this through one more time here, because I am obsessed with this rep from Austin Booker. So you see he slides out, jams Ja'Marr Chase, closes quick, swipes the arm up underneath the tackle into the backfield, and he's celebrating high step, and he's ready to turn into a blocker. Just a really, really good rep to close out the Bengals game here. Moving over now to the Giants game, and I would say Austin Booker had another really nice performance. It wasn't quite as productive. He didn't have a sack, he didn't have a forced fumble, anything like that, but he did lead the team in pressures with 5, was really disruptive, and we'll talk more about what really made this game impressive after this rep, because the factor that I'm referring to doesn't apply to this rep, and that'll make sense here maybe in a second, but definitely when we get to the next play. So we'll go ahead and snap this ball, and we've got the Giants running a PA boot, right? You're going to roll Jackson Dart out to the right after faking this handoff, and Austin Booker over here on the right side of your screen looks like he's going to be blocked one-on-one by the tight end. But what's actually going on is the tight end's going to run a little check and release here, so he's going to chip Booker and then float out into the flat, and Booker's going to pick up on this pretty quickly. I love the recognition on this play. This is really what stands out to me for this play. He reads this all the way through, and once he realizes that Dart still has that football, you can see him plant that inside foot. That way he can shift his momentum and get downhill, because if he can get downhill while Dart is rolling out to the right here, he has a pretty good shot of being able to make contact, sack the quarterback, at least get some pressure and make things harder on him, right? So Booker, like I said, does a great job of exactly that. He starts getting downhill, but unfortunately, because Tyreek Stevenson is letting up quite a bit of separation here, this is going to be a pretty easy football for Jackson Dart to deliver. So it is going to be a completion, but Booker does what he can to make it difficult, right? You see there, he makes Dart a little uncomfortable. He ends up landing the shoulder in his chest and knocking him over. And I would honestly say Booker does enough to make this ball come out a little awkwardly, right? Because you see all this green grass in front of Wan'Dale Robinson. You obviously want to lead him out, right? With how much separation he has with Tyreek Stevenson, if you lead him to the right side of the screen or the left side of the field, however you want to put it, then he should be able to turn up field and get a lot of yards out of this. But instead, because Dart doesn't have enough time to really set his feet and make the perfect throw because of Booker and also Tremaine Edmonds, who had a very nice game, he ends up just putting this right on Robinson. He falls, ends up being a 13-yard pickup instead of 20, 30, maybe even more. So I think this was a nice play by Booker. Sure, it results in positive yardage, but Booker does everything he needs to. This is disruptive. This is what you want to see out of your second edge rusher, and I think this is a good play. Next play we're going to take a look at here is a little bit of a doozy, as there is a lot going on here. We've got a trick play of sorts from the Giants that I really respect the ingenuity of, but unfortunately for them doesn't go anywhere thanks to some good defense by Chicago. We've also got a really, really nice rep from Austin Booker, which plays into that. And we've also got the answer to the question from the beginning of the last clip, which really wasn't a question. It was more just me saying that something was coming up. Either way, the thing that makes this game more impressive for Booker, more so than it already is, that didn't apply to the last clip, is the fact that he was up against Andrew Thomas for the majority of this game. I want to say it was all but 2 pass rushing snaps he engages with Andrew Thomas. And he played very, very well against him. Andrew Thomas being one of the league's premier left tackles. This is a pretty standout performance from Booker because of that alone. And this play is by far and away the best rep he had all day. Sure, doesn't end in a sack, but he does get some pressure. He gets credited with the pressure, and the rep is beautiful. So we'll go ahead and snap this football. And just for context with the play here, so you can get an idea of what Booker's attacking, this is going to end up being a flea flicker into a tight end screen, which is really cool. So they hand the ball here to the running back. He throws it back to Jackson Dart. And then the tight end here, Theo Johnson, who is engaged with Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, the other pass rusher for Chicago, or the other edge rusher, excuse me. He is going to let go of this block and make himself available to Jackson Dart. And he's going to catch the screen here. But now that we have that out of the way, we can actually talk about Austin Booker's rep here, because this is really good. So you see here, we start off by engaging first. We get that nice hand placement in the chest, and we keep the right hand free. So Austin Booker, his go-to, he talks about it all the time, this long arm move. He uses that to displace Andrew Thomas, and then comes up with the right arm here to smack his hands away and send him flying. This is a really, really nice job here. Really good hand fighting. And now he's got a free lane to Jackson Dart, who is just receiving the toss back on the flea flicker. Now, unfortunately, Andrew Thomas does a good job of recovering, but Booker stays with it, goes up underneath of him, and Dart ends up getting this football out, so it's not going to quite be a sack. It's just the nature of the play, right? If this was just a normal flea flicker and Dart had to look downfield, I firmly believe Booker gets a sack here, because you can see Booker had a clear lane to the quarterback, hits him, he throws the hands up and says, ref, it wasn't not roughing the passer, right? He does a good job of that. And thankfully for Booker as well, this play goes nowhere. This is going to be a 1-yard loss, and it's all because of a big, beautiful man by the name of Andrew Billings, who consumes Theo Johnson and drops him behind the line of scrimmage. CJ Gardner-Johnson also gets in there as well. Shout out to him. He's been playing great. But just watching this rep back again from Booker, just beautiful stuff, man. I mean, the hand fighting is great. Baiting the tackle into, getting a little defensive and then swiping the hands away, getting up underneath of him at the end when he tries to recover, and then being able to follow through and hit the quarterback. Just beautiful stuff. Like I said, this is one of the better reps of his young career. I think the rep earlier from the Bengals game where he got the forced fumble on Joe Flacco is probably the best of his young career, but this is certainly one that would be in the top 5 if we were making a list. Next play we're going to take a look at here is another example of two of Booker's best traits, and that is his eye discipline and his high motor. So we'll go ahead and snap this football here. We engage right away with Andrew Thomas on the left side of your screen. And unfortunately for Booker, he's in a tough spot. He's got one hand on his chest, one hand on the opposite bicep. This is perfect hand placement from Andrew Thomas. So what's Booker going to try to do? He's going to try to win inside here, but unfortunately John Runyon's going to come over and kind of cut that off. You'll see exactly what I mean there as Runyon ends up pushing Booker. However, we rewind just a hair here. You notice from about right here onward, Booker has no interest in these two men in front of him. Instead, his eyes are in the backfield on Russell Wilson, who is starting to fade in Booker's direction. So Booker's going to do something really smart here, as he's going to eat this hit from Runyon, take that momentum, and use it to carry himself over, get in position, and come downhill at Russell Wilson. Now Russ, he's a veteran, he knows how to get the ball out on time, so he throws the football away there. Booker isn't able to get a sack, but this is another big QB hit, another really nice pressure, and he forces an incompletion on first down here. Just a really, really nice rep. Again, when we watch this in full speed, you can see the motor on full display. Zero quit in this young man. Just a really, really good rep there from Austin Booker. And again, the signature at this point, throwing the hands up saying, I didn't do it, Either way, very, very nice rep there from Austin Booker. And the final play we're going to take a look at here has Austin Booker on the left side of your screen, not against Andrew Thomas this time, but instead against the center. So we'll go ahead and I'll show you what I mean. We're going to get a nice little stunt here. He is going to loop around and engage with the center, gets his hands in the chest, and drives him all the way back into Russell Wilson. This is a really, really nice job here with the bull rush, just taking all your momentum, all your power, and driving it into the quarterback. But as you can see, Russ does get this ball off. He's a savvy vet. He knows how to get this ball out. So he's going to dump it off to the running back, who unfortunately has no chance. Tremaine Edmonds coming downhill, Grady Jarrett, Montez Sweat. He's got plenty of bears right there, and this is going to go for no gain. He tries his best to get out of it, but the boys rally to the ball. And this is a great, not only rep from Austin Booker, but a great team rep. Because as a pass rusher, sometimes it isn't about getting to the quarterback. I mean, that's the end goal, but it doesn't always have to be the perfect end result, right? You can have a really nice play as a pass rusher without getting a pressure or getting to the quarterback. Instead, you force Russ to throw this ball quickly. Your boys rally to the ball. This is a win for the defense. Sure, it's first down. It doesn't turn the ball over or anything. It isn't like a grand play, but it's a good one. It's a damn good one. And honestly, watching this Bears defense every week, they need more plays like this. And Austin Booker gives them the energy, the spark plug that they need opposite Montez Sweat, who also has been playing very well, to get more plays like this, where the ball has to come out quicker. Guys can rally to the ball. Things can happen defensively that don't result in Tyreek Stevenson or Nashawn Wright or whoever sitting in coverage for 5 minutes and inevitably letting up a bunch of separation. A play like this, while it might not seem major, is the exact type of thing the Bears need from their pass rush right now, And I wholeheartedly believe Austin Booker is capable of doing this consistently week in and week out. But anyways, folks, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to leave a like down below, as it does help out the channel a ton. It shows your support, it shows you care, and I really do appreciate it. Also, make sure to subscribe for more NFL content coming your way every single week. I'll definitely be talking about Austin Booker more if he continues to play the way he's been playing. I'm a huge fan. He's one of my favorite players in the league, and I would love more excuses to make videos about him. And also, if you're a Bears fan, which I assume you are if you're watching this video, I'm going to be making plenty more Bears content, so definitely subscribe so you don't miss any of that. And also make sure to comment down below and let me know what you thought about this video, what you think about Austin Booker. Do you think he has a lot of potential? Do you think this is just a couple flash-in-the-pan starts where he's not going to do a whole lot going forward? Whatever it may be, I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. But above all else, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, evening, night, afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. I hope you enjoy it because you're all wonderful people, and you truly do deserve it.
Had a chance on the throwback. This was an ill-advised throw. What an unbelievable catch by Cole Kmet. And he cups it too. No movement when he hits the ground, tucked up against his shoulder. Wow.
Using that